Hello and welcome to Comics Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
Hello. So welcome along. We weren't here Tuesday. We're back because it's Thursday. It's our topical comedy show where we look at the problems of the world. They appear in the news. They appear in the things that you send us, either before the show or in the message sections all over the shop. And we'll fix them. And by that little asterisk down the bottom, we won't fix them. We'll try and write some jokes about them. If you are watching this right now and wherever you're seeing the stream, share it. Share your stream. Oh, every word I add to this sentence makes it more disgusting.
It's like a Russian hotel room, Steve.
Oh, yeah. So tweet this out. Spread it on Facebook. Even that sounds rude. And get this shared. There'll be various links below what we're talking about and popping up on screen that will show you where you can enjoy, either plug or indeed chuck us a donation in this direction. So if we've got all that sorted, also you can tweet us. You can see that. I think we are set up in the right direction to crack on with half an hour of as close as we can get to fun. What are we starting with today?
Well, Steve, it's an important question. What do you do when you see an injustice?
Not a lot, but thanks for asking the question.
Well, if you're in Nebraska and you're named Andrew Christensen, I'll tell you what you do. You go to a city council meeting and you raise your concerns, nice. Just like this man did right here.
Lincoln has the opportunity to be a social leader in this country. We have been casually ignoring a problem that has gotten so out of control that our children are throwing around names and words without even understanding their true meaning and treating things as though they're normal. I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine.
Sounds
That's
worrying.
Right, Steve. It does sound worrying. And this is America. There's a lot of tension right now. And I got to be honest, when you start watching this and you're like, oh boy, here's a white guy talking about words being thrown around. Where's he going with this? Uh-oh. I mean, I just hope he's going to complain about the fact that people call him ginger. But that's not a thing in America. So we got to worry. So I'm just telling you right now, Steve, audience, brace yourselves. This is what he wants to find out about.
I go into nice family restaurants and I see people throwing this name around and pretending as though everything is just fine. I'm talking about boneless chicken wings.
That's right, Steve. Boneless chicken wings. Finally! Somebody is taking the issue to the man the way it's deserved to be taken to all this time. It's a real issue and a real problem. Although I'll be honest with you, it didn't get the reaction in the room that it deserved.
Yeah.
Have a look.
I'm talking about boneless chicken wings. I propose that we as a city remove the... Excuse me, I'm trying to... Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I think you still could be worried that it is for him a racial slur. That might be what people shout at him.
He does kind of look like a bit of a chicken wing. And that's not a ginger thing.
Thank you.
Like a rooster. Anyway. But I mean, it's a real problem. Andrew's bringing it up, and he's going to explain why. All right, here's his explanation.
I propose that we as a city remove the name boneless wings from our menus and from our hearts. These are our reasons why. Number one.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there's more.
He's got more than one reason, Steve. It's not just some casual thing that he hasn't thought about. He's made a list, all right? Ugh. Now, we've giggled at Ander. Other people have giggled at Ander. Most of the world is laughing at Ander. But we need to hear him out. So I'm not going to stop it anymore. Let's just play it out. Let's hear his reasons to stop this atrocity.
Number one, nothing about boneless chicken wings actually come from the wing of a chicken. We would be disgusted if a butcher was mislabeling their cuts of meats, but then we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing. Number two, boneless chicken wings are just chicken tenders, which are already boneless. I don't go to order boneless tacos. I don't go and order boneless club sandwiches. I don't ask for boneless auto repair. It's just what's expected. And then number three, we need to raise our children better. Our children are raised being afraid of having bones attached to their meat. That's where meat comes from. It grows on bones. We need to teach them that the wing of a chicken is from a chicken, and it's delicious.
You do it for the children, Steve, not just some boneless auto repair.
Yeah, that one actually, he's made me
Steve?
realize I will always ask for boneless auto repair from now on, just in case.
If you've been boned while getting your auto repaired, call us. Have you been affected by the issues that we brought up in this show today?
Dear. And that's how I realised you can't fit quicker than a quick fit fitter.
Got to do it for the children. I mean, you think this is a problem? Does this bother you? The fact that boneless chicken, it's not. You're someone who's precise in your language.
Yep.
You care about issues.
Yeah, I mean, it's never bothered me before. As long as boneless chicken doesn't have bones in it, I'm ticking all the boxes I need. And as long as it's got chicken in it as well, I would like that. But it's not essential depending on which chicken shop I'm going to. So I've never worried.
Someday, if you have a child, do you think you want them to think that chicken is just a boneless invertebrate?
Maybe if that's what I wanted, I'd feed it squid rings. No, because
calamari. We're not French.
Just because you know that some part of chicken doesn't have bones in doesn't mean no part of the chicken has bones in. Like a drumstick fairly obviously has a bone right through it.
Maybe. I don't know anymore. I don't have a drum with that stick. But Ander isn't here just to raise a problem. He does what many politicians don't, and he has a solution. And here it is.
I propose that we rename boneless wings in the city of Lincoln. We can call them buffalo-style chicken tenders. We can call them wet tenders. We can call them saucy nugs or trash. We can take these steps and show the country that where we stand, and that we understand that we've been living a lie for far too long. And we know it because we feel it in our bones.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, hold it down.
Boom.
Yeah, good line at the end.
Mic drop. Feel it in our bones.
The bones. Not that
We're
we
not
have
some
them.
boneless chicken standing up here. I'm standing up here for freedom. The American way. I don't know why he brings buffaloes into it, because that's a legacy we don't really want to talk about in America.
Yeah.
But still.
There's so many his suggestions. It's nice that he comes up with solutions, but don't mention buffalo, because now I'm thinking, ooh, quite fancy some buffalo. And I'd be upset that there's no buffalo in it. And then what was the other one? Wet tenders. That's a radio-friendly version of a Cardi B song. I don't want to know what's going on with that.
If you got your kids their box of wet tenders, yeah, that's not appropriate either. You got to admire Ander for doing this. He's standing up, taking the ground for something that he believes in. But you know what? He's not the only hero in this story, Steve. There's another hero here, and that's the woman behind him. If we can take a little bit of a closer look.
And we go around and pretending as though the breast of the chicken is its wing.
Holding it together.
Number 2,
holding it
boneless
together.
chicken wings
And
are
she can't
just
take it
chicken
anymore.
tenders.
So good she's got that mask on. Finally, a plus side to wearing a mask indoors.
Yeah, real heroes wear masks, Steve.
Wow.
She's the real hero here. It was pretty much.
Oh dear, I think we might have lost some. Oh, we are losing some Eric. This is exactly what shouldn't be happening. Uh-oh. Right.
Oh, we had a poor network connection, Steve. Can you hear me now?
Yep. You're back. You're back with us. It's relatively solid.
Okay. Ooh, relatively solid.
Yep.
Famous last words. Basically, I think we got through the woman laughing.
Yep.
Did we get that?
Yep.
Okay. Last part of the story is there was the councilman's response, and here it is.
I would like to just comment here. For the record, that's my son.
Poor lad.
So, it kind of takes away some of the power of this, really. Clearly the kid just wants to see his dad.
Oh, is that the way you read it? I just thought he hated his dad and it was like some passive-aggressive thing. But you're like, I never get to see dad. He's always at the council meetings. What can I complain about? Boneless chicken wings.
His dad looks like he's had a few chicken wings. I don't know. I don't know. Where's the mother in this story?
Good question. Yeah.
Hard to know. It's hard to know what the big takeaway is, other than some delicious chicken wings.
That's my kind of takeaway. It seems reminiscent of the story from America about the dairy farmers who had some sort of court case to stop milk alternatives being called milk.
Ah, yes.
Which, you know what? I'm all about. If you can't milk it, you shouldn't really call it milk. You know what I mean? So if there's something that you can milk, for example, like 13 series of Britain's Got Talent, that clearly Simon Cowell can milk. That's a milk. Whereas oat milk, there's so many different types these days. So I was really on board with the idea of calling it something else until in the court case they suggested their solution. And instead of calling these alternatives milk, they wanted them to be called nut juice.
Oh.
No, I don't
Nasty.
ever want to be asked, would I like some nut juice in my coffee? You do, and I'll hit you. So,
The northerner comes out there. Jesus.
yeah.
Juice away from me, boy.
Let's have a look. Mark says, what about buffalo wings and flying buffaloes? That is a concern. If they're putting wings on buffaloes, then you think it's bad enough when a bird craps on your car. In America, don't you have to ask for beefsteak in case you get given tuna steak instead? Does that happen, Eric?
Not when I left America, but that was before Obama was president, and he turned it into a socialist country.
So from now on, yeah, that makes sense. Just in case you're thinking of other types of steak, like do you fancy steak and suddenly a
Tuna
poker
steak.
game kicks out.
Ugh, God.
Lovely stuff. Right, so you can get involved if you want to subscribe to our channel for future shows as well. Get this one stored, youtube.com/comic solving problems. And if you'd like to help contribute, that's always very much appreciated.
That's
and
right.
as Mark's shown, the message boards are open. Wherever you're watching this, you should be able to send us a message, and hopefully we get to see it.
Yes, hopefully. I am refreshing our Facebook link here to see if it's working on there, because I think it's a bit wonky today. But that's a problem we'll solve for another day, because you have our next problem, Steve.
I do. Right, let's deal. So before we do, just realise Mark's just sent one saying nut juice. There may well be a bar in Amsterdam where that's an option. Oh, look at that. That many minutes in, and already I'm feeling queasy. Thank you. For the next problem, I need to set up a little bit of background before we move on. Eric, do you remember when we were preparing for a no-deal Brexit and Chris Grayling gave a ferry contract to a ferry company that didn't have any ferries?
I recall, yes.
And one of the few things you need to be a ferry company is a ferry. That's like giving me a contract as a hair model. It's a stupid plan.
You're silly. You're typecasting.
Yeah, body hair I could do, but head hair, no. So what it meant was, if Chris Grayling would have given the contract to Roxy Music, it would have been a better move, because at least they had one ferry. So that in mind, we can start with today's actual problem. And this is about, how do you fix the proms? Seems like a bit of a leap, but I'll give you that. Here's the headline. It's Rule Britannia will be sung on the last night of the proms after BBC U-turn. I can get you more information on this I've got a pile here of news stories about recent U-turns. It's not that one. Hang on, sorry, that's no, that one's A-levels. Local lockdowns, masks in schools, not that one either. This is driving to Barnard Castle, Air Bridge. Do you know what? I think I can do it just by remembering it. What they've decided to do is, there was a big problem about whether they should sing the lyrics to Rule Britannia. And the question is, are the lyrics appropriate in 2020? And I would say no. Because not even the lyrics that were the controversial bits. You know the bit where they say Britannia rules the waves?
Yeah.
We didn't have any ferries in our ferry companies. Britannia would have been better at ruling the waves if Roxy Music were in charge. I'm going to keep bringing that up. Look, there are loads of old songs where the lyrics aren't appropriate. Do you know the song by Blue Minx, Melting Pot?
No.
All we need is a great big melting pot. That one.
No.
Does that not help? Big enough to fit the world and all it's got. No? Okay. Well, I thought that might help. So as it turns out, I'm not going to do all the lyrics, because there are some lyrics in there that do not scan well in 2020. They are offensive. They're not as offensive as something you might hear in a BBC News broadcast, but that's a different story for a different day. But the bigger question here is whether it would be a problem or not, right? Some of the language might hark back to a time that we're not particularly proud of right now, but is it causing a problem in society? Were the proms ever fueling racism? I don't think so. If you look at the Venn diagram of people who watch the proms and racists, the overlap is some granddads. So we really don't need...
Just some?
Just some. It's not even all granddads. Just some granddads.
Okay.
Probably not the biggest problem that we have to face. And as a working class lad, I can tell you that you could have cancelled the proms and I never would have noticed. As long as no one touches Eurovision, I'm thinking it's a normal year, right?
Yeah.
And it's only because now it's been made an issue, people are going, how dare they change the proms? You never watched the bloody thing in the first place. If you'd have asked people 4 months ago what the lyrics were, we know Rule Britannia and the rest of it is just that pretend singing along that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, like hymns in church. Also, if you're invited to a friend of a friend's birthday party and you don't know their name, happy birthday. That was all that we had to do. So no one was really tied to these lyrics. Everyone should just calm down. Indeed, I think the biggest lesson and the biggest solution to this is to realize how much we don't have to care about this story.
Okay.
Femi, who's a well-known left-wing activist and commentator. Yeah, I'm sure you've probably been on things with him with your media work. He was on ITV. Here's a clip of what he had to say.
Nobody on the Black Lives Matter was talking about the proms.
Yes, it makes so much sense. No one... This is just a distraction. And he was actually saying it's a distraction. And this is my favourite bit of TV I've ever seen.
We shouldn't be spending all this time talking about it, but every time I mention the things we should be talking about, I keep getting shut down.
Yes, because you were booked on this show today to talk about your objections to Rule Britannia and Land of Hope and Glory.
That's brilliant, isn't it? Every time, this is just a distraction. And then Eamon goes, but you were booked to talk about the distraction. Can I get you back onto the distraction, please? That's so blatant. That's like a magician doing this kind of, oh, that's it, follow the coin, and, oh, look at that, what's that? Look at that there. So
wow, we should do that's the first time we've done magic on the show.
Yeah, it's pretty good as well. No one saw how it was done. If you watch it back, you might be able to work it out. So Femi, I think, made a really good point. It is nothing other than a distraction. And I get what would have happened here. This was never meant to be a debate about racist lyrics. It would have been a concern about having a choir indoors singing out loud during COVID restrictions. Because the BBC said they were going to do lyrics next year. It was just this year that it might be a problem. Basically, it would have meant there would have been a BBC phone call that went like this.
Hi, BBC head of proms. Yeah, oh yeah, the choir. God, yeah. Well, look, I guess we can't have a choir this year because if we have to space everyone out 2 meters, it'll be huge. We'll have to hire out the Albert Hall. We what? Oh, okay.
Could be the most middle-class joke I've ever written for the show. But I also understand how no one would have paid attention to that news story. BBC doesn't sing lyrics for space reasons. No one cares. And there'd be a journalist somewhere who's just sat around watching absolutely every news story break and sat there thinking, how can I spin this to make it some sort of race-baiting issue? Oh. And that's how you go from the story that's just about health and safety to stories like front page of the Express, woke BBC to arrest your granny for watching proms. And then it's fought back by the Guardian with their headline, BBC proms to include full version of Kanye's Gold Digger rap. And then the next thing you know, it splits us off into 2 different tribes, and then those 2 tribes go to war. And I could end this story there if the song 2 Tribes Go to War was done by Roxy Music. But sadly, it's not. It's done by Frankie Goes to Hollywood. So I'll just have to end by saying this. What's the solution to this problem? It's to realise it's a distraction. It's not a problem. It's not the end of the world if it happens. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen. And we should probably get some perspective. But no one's ever going to do that. So let's pick a different song. And it still has to be a song that we like. And it has to be a song that you don't know the lyrics to, but you can get away with them just by making some kind of noise as you sing. So I vote for this one. Do you know
it's
that?
catchy.
Do you know that
I can
song?
sing that.
Because normally, if ever there's any pop culture references on this show, we don't stand a chance of making them work. Eric, have you got any idea who that was?
Nope.
Okay.
Is it David Bowie?
No.
Elton John?
I mean, close.
Janis Joplin?
Yes. Oh my God! Thank God you finally got it.
If it's not John Denver,
and it is.
I can't do it.
It's not John Denver. So
it's
well
not
done.
John. Grandma's feather bed was 9 feet high, 6 feet wide, soft as a downy chick.
Okay, we're just trying to bring in that young audience because we want to go big with this show, and I think that's exactly.
First concert I ever went to.
I tried to do a Cardi B reference earlier on, and you're doing John Denver. Nice. Okay. Some of the messages coming through. Femi is superb, says Mark. Follow him on Twitter. Indeed,
he's great.
And makes such a clear point. Hired so that you can have some kind of fight with Nigel Farage, but makes the sense it's just not even a flipping story. It's just silly lyrics. Keep the messages coming through wherever you so find an opportunity to do so.
Yes. And if you're watching and enjoying, please do share or like or subscribe to the YouTube. We got the YouTube going on, so please do that as well. Right. We're ready for another problem now?
I mean, we're solving them at a fast rate, so I think, let's do it.
Yeah, we're clocking along here. What would you be willing to do for your country?
Not a lot.
Especially after the way you just disrespected Rule Britannia. Do you remember Sarah Sanders?
Yes.
Former press secretary to the United States. She's one of the few people that worked in the Trump administration not to be indicted yet.
Yeah.
Yet. She's written a book about her time lying for the White House. And she told a story about the one time they didn't want her to lie with her mouth, but with her whole body. Yep. We've got the headline here.
I love that setup.
I liked it too. Trump told Sarah Sanders to take one for the team after Kim Jong-un wink. So it's nice to know the dictators don't grab women by the... They just wink. Only our president grabs. But basically, Sarah's written her autobiography, which it's in the fiction section. She talks about the story time that they went to meet with Kim Jong-un, and apparently Kimmy, can I call him Kimmy?
Yeah, why not?
Sure, why not?
He's probably dead, so why not?
He looked over and he nodded at her, gave her the nod and the wink.
What was
Now,
that
I don't know
again?
how the wink
I gotta say, I only just caught that on the screen. Are you all right? Sorry, it looks like Eric's line's gone down again. He's clearly there's something wrong with the feed. He's affecting his eyes somehow.
So Trump basically saw this happen. They all saw it happen. It's one of those kind of things where you're going to get joshed by the rest of the guys on the Security Council team. And Trump basically went, Kim Jong-un is hitting on you. He did it. He fucking hit on you. Subtle. And now Sarah pretends she's married. She's a Christian. I put that in air quotes because she helped lock up babies. And basically Trump said, look, you're going to have to take one for the team. Got to do what you got to do to basically make world peace happen. And by world peace happen, I'm talking about a piece of Sarah Sanders' ass. You know what I mean?
I hope I don't. Is that how he got the nickname Little Rocket Man?
Well, she would know. So what do you think, Steve?
I mean,
world peace is at stake.
Would you take one for the team?
Take one for the team with Kim Jong-un?
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, if I'd have had more warning on this, I would have photoshopped a picture of Sarah Sanders being flattened out like in a cartoon, like at the end of Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but the face still
only like this tall. So I mean, would only squish her to like I think she's an Arkansas girl, so she's big and hardy.
Yeah.
I mean, she's like Paul Bunyan kind of,
That's a great mime.
Anyway.
That's it's truth. I mean, imagine that. It's a real difficult one because if you could make everyone always says, models always say it. I'm not saying that Sarah Sanders is a model, but normally if you see like Miss World, there's that moment they go, I just want to bring about world peace. Imagine that you could bring about world peace. Yeah. But it would involve being squished.
No nuclear weapons in the Korean Peninsula.
Yeah.
We don't have to see Dennis Rodman anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there could be some kind of withdrawal agreement, but that'd be risky. Thinking of other sex puns right now.
Oh, boy. I just want to make sure the safety's on those missiles. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Sneaking into no man's land. That's her nickname for her. Well, anyway.
I would do it.
Would you?
I would take it. Yeah.
What with Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, why not?
I mean... Maybe you should put me down as a yes, because all the good money is that he's dead now and his sister's in charge.
Yeah. Have you seen her?
Oh, no way. Wow. I mean, this is deep political analysis. International politics. We're just going, Kim Jong-un's sister. What?
Oh, yeah. Take a piece of that nuclear.
World
fire.
Peace. World piece of ass. No,
I think it's fine to make these jokes that are slightly misogynistic because you're talking about a dictator and dictatoress. So,
do you know,
although they prefer not to be called dictatoress, they just prefer dictator.
Yeah, gender neutral. I totally believe this, actually. This is a thing that I've been thinking about recently. There are certain things you can't do. Like, you should never body shame someone. But no one seems to have a problem body shaming Kim Jong-un or Donald Trump. And I think it's like a pyramid, and I want to make a pyramid because not like the aliens did, according to Elon Musk, but Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy, and the hierarchy of needs? And if you can develop a pyramid, you're going to be known. And I think the rule is that if you are guilty of a crime up here, you can be attacked by a crime 2 steps down. Because body shaming is terrible, but if you've locked babies up in cages or killed a ton of people, we can call you fat. So I think there's something in it. Steve's pyramids of insults.
But then the problem is that people who are overweight will feel like you're calling them dictators.
Yeah.
So you're going to get in trouble that way.
Yeah. Okay. I was just noticing some of the messages coming through. Beware of premature detonation.
Mm-hmm. That is going to be a problem. Yeah.
Sarah, open the silo doors. Oh, well done. You've just, Mark has managed to send a message. I'm cured. I'm over sex. Open the silo doors.
Fire in the hole. Is that what you're saying?
Fire in the. Right. Let's move on from this before we all get fired. If you're enjoying the show, you can keep the messages coming through and share it. Spread it on social media.
Share it. Spread it. Like Sarah said. Never mind. Okay.
Dear me. Oh, when I ordered a Sanders special herbs and spices bucket, anyway.
She's a boneless chicken, let's put it that way.
So let's move on swiftly on to the next problem. And this is TV news for the next problem. And when I say TV news, I don't mean this kind of TV news. Harry and Meghan signed Netflix deal to make films and documentaries. And loads of people on social media have been saying, I thought that couple wanted to avoid the public eye. They're making documentaries. They're going to be avoiding the public eye. No one's going to be watching that. Netflix suggests a documentary. Jog on, mate. No, I want to talk about a different piece of TV news, and this is solving the problem of those left-wing woke comedians. Front page of the Telegraph this week. New Director General threatens to axe left-wing BBC comedy. And that was interesting news for me, because
why?
So far in 2020, I've only lost every other bit of my career. So it was really interesting to see that one thing I was hanging on by, the really annoying left-wing BBC comedy, is a threat. Yeah, I mean, all the newspaper articles were talking about the MASH report. It's just like watching people take glee in the end of your career. It was interesting. There's another headline about it as well from The Independent. Left-wing bias, comedians mock the Tories more simply because they are in power. And who's written that? You can just see on the left there. Stephen Allen.
Look at that. Is that the guy who works in radio?
No, you're used to. Yes, I know it's right up my own arse doing a screenshot of a headline I was responsible for.
But you're in the news.
I'm in the news, and I got nothing else left.
Your show was cited frequently in the news as the show that is the one that's most likely going to get cut.
Yeah, feels good. Thanks for all that. So here's how it happened. I woke up and got a phone call from Talk Radio. We're both often on there as guests, and they wanted to know if I'd go on as a guest to talk about the end of my career. Oh, good morning to you too. So I went on there, and the host was saying the line that you hear so many people say, they never do any jokes about the left. And that always bothers me a bit. And you can actually read the article in The Independent where I talk about, I've sat behind that news desk and I have vivid memories of reading out jokes about Jeremy Corbyn every single week. You come along, you've seen a few of them every single week. They don't always make the edit for the show, but we did jokes about Jeremy Corbyn every single week. So it is not true to say the left never do jokes about the left, or the BBC comedy never does jokes about the left. It's also true that we probably do more about the right, and so we should. As I said in the headline, the Tories are in power. You should hold government to account more than you should hold opposition to account, because, and this might sting a little if you're in opposition, you don't matter as much.
If you're a Jeremy Corbyn supporter, you don't matter at all.
You don't matter at all. Because, the Tories could make a decision that impacts people's lives, and you need to do a joke that might poke a hole in that and show some of the flaws and hypocrisies therein. Yeah. The opposition, you're coming up with a plan of what you might do if ever you got the chance. You don't really do jokes about that. This is why I'm never mentioned in the gossip columns for what I might do if ever I went out with Kylie. No one cares about this kind of speculation. MASH report star says he'd lie there having pillow talk about his favourite Kylie songs. Yeah, I should be so lucky. I did try and write a Cardi B one about that for the young people, but I don't even know what a Cardi B is, to be fair.
Yeah.
MASH report star says he'd help her dry off that cat. I don't know.
What?
So have you not heard that song that she's done?
No.
You'll enjoy the video.
Rocky Mountain High, Colorado.
Oh dear. Just having plans isn't enough. It's like trying to mock DFS for actually ending their sale. No, they've got plans, but come and see me when it's actually gonna happen. And also comedy theory. Who is it easier to do jokes about? Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
I mean, his name sounds a bit like an affordable hatchback, and then I'm done. Whereas Boris Johnson, like the use of Latin in their hair. We've all heard the stories that before he goes on stage, he ruffles up his hair. He's Milton Jones with an 80-seat majority. There's hiding in a fridge, zip wire thing, and knocking over a 12-year-old playing rugby. He's setting us up for these jokes. He's half responsible for all of the jokes about him. Which leaves us to, this is why there are so many jokes about it. And I think we should be okay with that. However, that's not what the issue is here. I think yet again we've stumbled across one of those rush to see who can be the most upset about it. Oh, they've said something I don't like. Oh, I'm upset. You shouldn't be allowed. We're back to that. It's a freedom of speech issue. And it's wrong that both sides should try and shut down the other side. But it is worse when the right spends all of its time talking about freedom of speech and then tries to get left-wing points of view taken off the telly. Basically, it's this moment.
Everything's so right on, politically correct, woke these days. You can't say anything. Right, let's see what's on TV.
Thousands of Britons who don't drink that much anyway are currently enjoying...
Make it stop.
...alcohol.
Might as well play the clip. Might never get to do it again. So, right-wing comedy. Look, BBC, I'd say don't get rid of left-wing comedy. Just put some more right-wing on. I know lots of people try and say, like, there is no right-wing stuff that's funny. Look, maybe just more balanced comedy. Maybe pick the kind of comedian who can do a left-wing rant about comedy, but start it with a snippy little shitty comment about Meghan and Harry just to keep the right-wing people happy. Someone like that. And I've actually prepared some right-wing jokes for you, Eric. Are you ready?
Sit back.
See if these can end my career. How many migrants does it take to change a light bulb?
I don't know.
Officially 3, but do you trust those figures? We can go back to the Harry and Meghan thing, because I know the right wing love that. Harry and Meghan are to make documentaries, probably historical ones, about how the royals used to be able to behead their wives, and you'll just see Harry staring off in the distance. There's that. You know who I feel sorry for?
No.
This is it's tasty or like this. I feel sorry for the girlfriends of all those American footballers. I mean, sure, they're taking a knee for protest, and the girlfriends are like, "Oh my God, it's gonna happen." The Priti Patel says that France is racist, and that's why the migrants are crossing the channel. Do they realise they're arriving in Kent? Actually, no, that one's a left-wing joke. It is harder than it looks. So, I'm not sure.
I was just in Kent. I saw.
That's what it was like. Yeah, it's where the studio is. It's where yeah. So I'm not sure if we've solved that one. I'd just like to still have a job, please.
Well, I think we've both discussed many times that there seems to be a lot of place right now for, if you're doing a YouTube show, especially like this, to have a far right audience or far left audience. And what we've done is decided to go for neither of those.
Yeah, even worse, we disagree with both. Being a non-ideological left-winger means you're just hated by both groups at the moment. If you want far-right jokes, there you go. I'll send those. They're available. You can buy them.
I like Mark's comment there about the pub landlord is right-wing. Have you met him? He's about as lefty as they get.
Yeah, Cambridge educated.
He created the pub landlord to be ironic, and it took control of his life. And never mind, I won't talk about that.
Hey, do you know what? I'm writing these jokes to be ironic, but if suddenly you want to make me famous and send me lots of money, I'd still keep writing this stuff even though I didn't mean it.
Yep. But you would never work in a pub.
Let's spend enough time in one. Yeah, lovely. So keep the comments coming through. Don't forget to share it. That's what we do. We share and share alike. And if you'd like to chuck some money in our direction, the links are available. Right, next problem.
Right, and we'll get through this one quickly because we're a little bit over our scheduled time. It's a problem, Steve, that you and I have talked a lot about. I mean, it's not a problem at the moment because we can't really still go anywhere, but it's the problem of what is the future of travel? At some point, the coronavirus will end, or we will end, and there'll be just a few people left that are hardy and can handle a cold. Yeah. But it's the problem of what's going to happen in the future. And we saw this, that basically there's a little jetpack action happening. Look at that. It's like is it the Jetsons? Do they have jetpacks in the Jetsons?
Yeah.
They have everything. Yeah.
Well, it's also a little bit like James Bond. There was jetpack.
Oh, yes,
Actually,
of course.
side note, the James Bond film that I think was meant to be out by now already, they've released a new trailer for it, so that's good. It's exciting. That's coming back. I don't know if it's going to be as successful because the bad guy, played by Rami Malek, wears a mask, which these days maybe he's not so bad. More than most people on the train does.
Maybe it was him that was the woman in the Lincoln City, Nebraska.
He's a good actor. He could be him. Could be. Would you have a jetpack if there was one available? I'd worry about char grilling my buttocks.
Yeah, I would definitely, of course.
Do you not worry about the old sparking back there?
Well, you definitely have to make sure you haven't had beans the night before.
Yeah, or it's just forward momentum. Maybe it would help. Yeah, seeing the idea of someone in a jetpack did remind me of this as well. David Blaine doing his latest stunt, where he attached himself to balloons and floated off.
God.
I mean, it's bizarre that we needed that story about a jetpack to remind us about David Blaine, and it's just a stunt to get focus. And no one gives a crap anymore. I mean, like, people used to care about his. Do you remember when he was above the Thames in a box?
Yeah, that was right when I moved here, 20 years ago, and it was where I fell in love with the United Kingdom and the sense of humor of the people here, because he was in this glass box above, lifted up a crane pointlessly next to the Thames, and he was there for weeks, I think. And in America, people would be like, "Oh my gosh, that is amazing! Look at what you've done. You're in the glass box. How does he wee?" But British people, what they did before the era of drones, because this is almost 20 years ago, and I tried to find video of this, but it's so long ago. The only video clips I could find of him doing it are in the old TV format. It's not even like mobile phone size or widescreen size. It's the square TV video. And it didn't have, I couldn't find any clips of this, but where people found remote control helicopters, which back then, my kid's got 6 drones that could do this. And they flew because he didn't eat. He only had water for however long he was up there. And people went to McDonald's, bought burgers, and were flying them up on the helicopters outside of his little stupid cage. And it's like, I love this country.
Yeah.
And it made me want to sing the Proms song, but I didn't know any of the words to Rule Britannia.
If it were Rule Britannia, we mock Americans in boxers. Yeah, I'm all over it.
It was beautiful.
So much has changed since then as well. I was just thinking, back then I remember it, we were so impressed he was going without food. And that's before someone invented the 5-2 diet. And now everyone's going without food. We get it. Well done. Fasting. And also, I mean, a box. Yes, it was a small box, but it was near the Thames, Zone 1. That was still some prime real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
I
mean, it was a rougher
there.
neighborhood then. I mean, it's the South Bank, what it is now. People walk along South Bank now, that's nice. It used to be rough, kids.
Yeah.
It used to be rough.
Oh, I did get a picture of David Blaine doing his latest one, because it's balloons and everyone's saying it's like the film Up, which actually it is. But if you're going to copy anything from the film Up, don't do the balloons thing. Do the collars on dogs that means they can talk. I'd rather have that squirrel.
Squirrel.
And I love the fact that you can see down the bottom he streamed it live on YouTube, which I think was wise, because if he'd have done it on Zoom, I would have just thought fake background. We can all do that, David. We can all click that and make it happen. So yeah, have we solved the future of travel?
I think not balloons.
Yeah, what a stupid plan.
More jetpack than balloon. That's what I'm going to say.
Bored is David Blaine.
That's what I'm going to say.
That's actually should be the title of his biography. How bored was David Blaine?
He's just a twat.
More shows coming soon, by the way. Get subscribed on YouTube, because we're on YouTube just like David Blaine. Before we go, I do want to update a story as well. In a previous episode, we talked about there was a steroid. I can't remember the name of it now. It's like resmethazone or something. That was a cheap steroid that can help with COVID. They found another one. We had this headline, and I wanted to show you this headline because A, it's good news. B, it's the kind of headline that makes me shout the word shaft. And I'll explain that. Who recommends cheap everyday steroids as COVID-19 treatment? Shaft, shut your mouth. But I'm talking about Shaft. But the point is, it's a cheap steroid and it can help. Good news is anything to help. And as we said last time, it's not just any cheap steroid. And to really drive that point home, I've lifted a clip from like episode 6 or whatever it was, just to see how different we looked. Here's what we said back then. But also we should point out, because I'm a health and safety kind of broadcaster, even though I just drank some bleach, it's not just any cheap steroids. Don't just go having any old cheap steroids. They won't do you good, and I don't want to be the one to have to tell them. If you say to someone who's been on cheap steroids that what they did wasn't good, they don't tend to be the calmest of people. I spoke to one earlier.
I'm so angry and my balls are so small.
It's the weird thing about steroids. Apparently they make your balls smaller. So how small must the Hulk's balls be? Different times.
Those were good times. That was high tech back then.
Yeah. I mean, these days, if I did the same sketch, I could really trim around the mouth and fix it to the picture so much more. Oh, I was a fool. Oh, and by the way, just to update that story, there they are. It's like quite small.
They're quite small.
But
but smooth. Look at the smooth ball skin. Smooth.
Wow.
They look like one of the balloons that David Blaine was. Never mind.
Shiny. That's what we got going on. So look, I think we're over time as we always are, but I think we're out of time. If you're up for watching a show, you can get subscribed.
Please subscribe. Please share. We do a midnight recap of this. So if you want to tell people that it's going to be happening, it's going to be going on again in about 2 hours and 20 minutes from now. It'll go out again, and it'll be fresh, still fresh at that time. But yes, we'd love more people to see the show. So please spread the word if you enjoyed it. Share the links to the YouTube channel. On Facebook, you can do that kind of thing and let people know the joy and the problems that we are solving. And if you also like what we're doing, you can also contribute to the show by buying us a drink on the various donation platforms that are there, because this is still pretty much the only income either of us have.
Yep, indeed.
So, but if you think, I'd buy these
note.
guys a drink for their hard work tonight, that's a nice amount, and my drinks normally cost about £50.
London prices, baby. That's what we're talking about.
That's right. Got a lot of drinking to make up for.
Yeah. Right, and then set it in your diary. 9 o'clock Tuesday. We'll do some more of this joking lark. Any other business?
We'll be back then. I think that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.